Hi guys, so it's lower back and hip flow today, so hope you enjoy it. Come and lie down. Right. So if you lie on your back, head resting on a towel or a pillow, you want your feet hip distance apart. And we're just going to think about our connection first of all, and then we're going to work on how to get better connected between our bodies and the floor. So we want to be feeling the connection underneath both feet, equal from side to side, underneath the lumbosacral junction, underneath the TL junction, both shoulder blades and the back of the head. So we're just going to now work on a few things to get better connected. So with our feet, we want to shift the weight from side to side until we're feeling a little bit more balanced. So equal weight from side to side. And we want to think about where the weight is on the foot. So is it more on the outside or is it more on the inside? If you're feeling it more on the outside, try and pull that inner arch down towards the floor without lifting the outer arch. And if you're feeling it more on the inner arch, try and pull it down on the outer arch but without lifting that inner arch. And then we're just going to work our way to the lumbosacral junction. So to get better connected here, we're going to do some pelvic tilts. So we're going to tilt the pelvis anterior, and we're going to be lifting the spine away from the floor when we do that. So we're rocking the pelvis forwards, and then we're going to take it into a posterior tilt. So we're tilting the pelvis backwards, and the spine's going to cave into the floor. We're going to tilt the pelvis forwards and then rocking it backwards, tilt it forwards and back. So we're pulling the spine away from the floor and then lowering it and caving it into the floor. Forwards and backwards, and then we're just going to stop in the midpoint between the two end ranges. So your pelvis should be feeling quite neutral, lower back should be flat on the floor, there shouldn't be any gap underneath your back and the floor. And then we're just going to work our way to the TL junction. So your rib cage and your pelvis, think of them like the pages of a book. So we want the pages to be closed, we don't want the pages to be open, so we'll get that rib flaring and that lumbar extension. So we're going to pull the rib cage and pelvis parallel with each other, like we're closing the pages of a book. And that will get us better connected between our TL junction and the floor. And then we're going to work our way to the shoulders. So both shoulders want to be feeling like they're on the floor, balanced between the sides. So shoulder blades equal from side to side. So we're going to just shift the weight again. Try and find better balance between the two sides. And the shoulders themselves as well, they want to be in a neutral position. So we're going to try and get away from this anterior protraction, internal rotation and elevation. And we're going to try and externally rotate, depress and then slightly retract the shoulders so that they're in a neutral position as well. And then going to the back of the head, we're going to push the head back down towards the floor. Try and keep your eyes pointing up towards the ceiling. Don't let the head tilt backwards or downwards. So we're going straight back down and feeling those muscles at the front of the neck switch on. Okay, so now we've got better connection. We're going to work on our breath. So one hand on the chest, one hand on the tummy. I'm just going to first of all get the breath in the right order, so thinking about which hand's lifting as we breathe in. So hand on the tummy wants to lift, Hand on the tummy wants to lower when you breathe out. Trying not to let the hand on the chest move. Breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth with pursed lips. Imagine that you're blowing through a straw. A couple more of these breaths. Okay, now we're going to put our hands around the waist. So now we've got the breath in the right order, we're going to think about the 360-degree breath. So as we're breathing in, you want to feel those muscles the whole way around. Expand and try and push your hands away. So if you're struggling to wake those muscles up, just cough, feel them expand, and then think about those muscles. Pushing the hands away, equal from front to back and from side to side. So if you're struggling with any areas, just focus on that point. So normally it's the back, so dig the thumbs into those muscles in the back, give them a prod, cough again, feel those muscles, and feel them expanding on the breath in and relaxing on the breath out. Think about your pelvic floor as well as you're breathing in. The pelvic floor wants to go in a downwards direction, so that it's mimicking what your diaphragm's doing. So as you're breathing in, the diaphragm's going down, pelvic floor's going down. Do a couple more, and then we're going to work on the brace. So now we've got the 360-degree breath. We're going to try and create a brace now. So as we're breathing in, we're creating that 360-degree pressure. And then before we breathe out, we're going to just do a little outward push like we're pretending to fart. And try and keep the muscles active as you're breathing out. Couple more breaths. And we're going to think about our 360-degree breath throughout the flow. And when we're doing something that needs more stability, we're going to create that brace, that outward push. Okay, so we're going to start with doing some glute bridges. So I've got a few new moves today that sort of Niam's sent me a few videos of different things to do, so I'm going to try and include those today. So we're just going to start by peeling the spine. So we're going to tilt the pelvis backwards into a posterior pelvic tilt. We're going to peel the spine off the floor, bringing the hips up so that they're parallel with the thighs. And then we're going to reverse peel the spine back down towards the floor, vertebrae by vertebrae. into the neutral spine, into the neutral pelvis, and then we're going to lift again, so tilt the pelvis posterior, peel the spine off the floor, hips parallel with the thighs, and then reverse peel back down, vertebrae by vertebrae, into the neutral pelvis. Just do 2 more of these. So reverse peel down, and then 1 more. And then the next one, what we're going to do, we're going to do the same, but you're going to take one of your arms and you're going to, peel the spine off the floor and you're going to reach backwards across the body. So if you've got the right hand, it's going to reach across to the left and touch the floor. And then bring it back and then reverse peel the spine down towards the floor. And then posterior pelvic tilt, peel the spine off the floor, hips up, take the left shoulder arm back, you're going to reach the hand back to the left, and then lower the spine and pelvis down towards the floor. Try and keep the body in alignment as well, try not to sort of shift all over the place. So we're going to do that a few more times. So we're going to tilt the pelvis, lift, and then try and reach back to the opposite side, and then lower, and then lift up, reach back, and lower. Do 1 more each side. And lower, and lift up, and reach back, and lower. Okay, so now we're going to lift up 1 foot off the floor. You're going to create your 360-degree breath and your brace, and we're just going to lift the bum off the floor. So we're pushing down into the floor with the leg that's still down, so the foot that's on the floor, and we're going to lower down. Again, try and keep the pelvis, pardon? Try moving towards the wall, so if you move down towards the wall and put your feet against the wall, so put your feet right against the wall and push into the wall with the foot that's pushing down into the floor, and see if that cramps less. Still cramped. Just keep on doing double legs and double leg reaches. Okay? It's okay, don't apologise. So I'm just going to do a couple more of these ones. So, is it the same on both sides? Yes. So keep doing your glute bridges. And I'm just going to add in a bit of a reach with these single legs. Try and keep your pelvis nice and don't let the pelvis sort of tilt back and forwards when you're doing these. do a couple more. Okay, so we're going to go into our single leg lifts. So find a neutral spine, create your 360-degree breath, and then either lift one leg and lower, and lift the opposite leg and lower. Making sure this movement's just coming from the hip, not from the pelvis, not from the lower back. Let's do a couple more, and then we're going to go into double leg lifts. So create that 360-degree breath and brace, and lift the legs, and lower. Try not to let the pelvis tilt forwards. Couple more. And then we're just going to end up in our 3-month supine. So feet neutral, feet slightly higher than the knees, knees over the hips externally rotated. And we're just going to hold this position, focusing on our breath. The hands around the waist again if you need to. Feel that 360-degree expansion. Just a couple more breaths. And then we're going to start to do some rolling. So I'm just going to move over, otherwise I'm going to bang into the mirror. Can you still see me? Okay, good. Right, so we're going to put our hands up into the air, fingertips pointed to the ceiling. And then we're going to lift the head slightly, look to the direction that we're rolling. And we're going to just roll onto our side. Nice and controlled, make sure that the shoulders and pelvis are moving at the same time. You've got your Lego body, you're ending up with a nice straight spine so there's no banana in. Reach in with the top arm. And then we're going to roll into the lower oblique sit. So from that rolling position, so with this one, your top leg's going to be in front of the bottom leg, and then we're going to roll back and then roll into the other side. And make sure that your spine's nice and straight the whole time, so it's not banana-ing. And then we're going to roll back, up onto the other side. Lovely, really nice. I don't need to move because I'm going to bang into the mirror. So make sure you've got this nice straight spine. Make sure that your shoulder's nice and active so it's not not going into that protracted, elevated position. And then from the lower oblique sit, so bring that leg into your mermaid position. So this is where you might need your book underneath your bum. So this is a new one from Niam, so it's a little bit, you need to sort of get your head around it a little bit. So we're going to hinge forwards, lift up, lean and lift, and then lower back down slowly. Put the hands around here, and then you're going to bring the feet round into a bear. So it's like you're going to twist your body round into the bear, and then you're going to hinge backwards, and then come forwards, and then come round the other way. So you're going to end up on the other side, and then you're going to lift again, so you're going to hinge up, lift, and then lower, hands down on the floor, so twisting the spine, and then pull the feet round into bear, hinge backwards, so you're going to shift the bum backwards, come forwards again, twist round into your opposite high oblique sit, and then hinge. So we're just going to do this little process a few times. So hinge up, and then round. Bring the feet round into bear, hinge backwards, forwards, rotate round, and then come up again into your lift, slowly back down, hands round, pull the pelvis and the knees round, hinge backwards, back, and then twist the other way. So you could do one more on each side. Yeah. Have you got the book underneath? Okay. And then drop the other side and do one more this side. Hands round, and then pull into your bear, and then hinge backwards. And we're just going to walk the hands backwards into the squat. A little bit. And then stand, squat down again, stand, down, and then back down into bear. And we're just going to do some rotations. So we're going to pull one leg through. So if you're turning to so that your left hand is down and you're pulling your left leg through. So, and then we're going to lift the bum off the floor, pull that back round, and then go the opposite way. So right hand's going to be flat on the floor, and you're going to pull the right leg through. Left foot is flat on the floor. Lift the bum again, twist round, down the other way. Good. Lift, round, through, lift, round, through, lift, round, through, lift, round, through, and then we're going to end up in bear, and we're going to go from bear into tripod. You okay there? And then from tripod, we're going to curl the back foot under and then pull that leg backwards into quadruped, and we're just going to hinge backwards. Nice. And then come forward, take the opposite leg forwards into tripod. And then pull that backwards into quadruped and rock backwards. And then the opposite side. And we're just going to alternate between the sides. So keep doing that in your own time. So taking one leg forwards, bring it back, hinge backwards into quadruped rock. Keeping the upper back nice and flat, and neutral spine and pelvis as you're hinging backwards. And then from this tripod position, we're going to curl the back foot under. And we're going to stand up, twist, and go around down into the opposite tripod. Okay, and then from this side we're going to come up, twist round, down into the other tripod. And then back round. Imagine you've got that ball in the hands. From side to side. And then into high kneel, so hands up in the air, and we're just going to do that same thing just with the hands up in the air now, so we're not going right down to tripod. Get working on keeping the pelvis level with the floor throughout. And then finish off on one side, so one of the high kneels. And we're going to go into standing, so pelvis level with the floor, neutral lower back, neutral pelvis, Try not to be too narrow with the foot, with the bringing it out to the side. And we're just going to arms out in front, shift the weight forwards and stand. And lower back down, nice and slowly. Try and let the knee track the second and third toe. Don't let the knee cave inwards. Make sure the pelvis is level with the floor and doesn't shoot off to the side. Ooh, make sure you don't fall over because you've got dodgy ankles, like me. Just do one more on this side. And then we're going to swap. So bring the hands down, pull that foot back, take the opposite leg forwards, into high kneel on this side, pelvis level with the floor, foot not too narrow, curl the back foot under and shift forwards and stand. Slowly lower down. Try not to let the knee cave in. Ooh. Don't lose your footing. And just do one more of these. Hands down again. Bring the back foot back, and you're just going to again drop down onto one side, and we're just going to do some hip rotations. So turn this way. Try and get some movement in the hips. So spine nice and straight, arms up. We're going to rotate round to bring the knees up to the ceiling. And through round onto the other side. And bring them back. Round. Back. Round. So we're going to go side to side. Making sure the spine's nice and straight in each point. So whether it's oblique sit, tall sit, nice long spine. Let's do a couple more. And then we're going to rock from side to side. So in this tall sit, rock from side to side, and then we're going to lean to one side, round over into quadruped. I'm going to turn myself around so you can see me. And then come down into low quadruped. And turn this way. Okay, so low quadruped, we're going to tilt the pelvis backwards and forwards, find your neutral spine. Okay, make sure that the upper back is nice and flat, so we're not in this arched rounded position. We're trying to pull the upper back down towards the floor without losing it into the lower back. And we're going to just work on the hip hinge. So we're hinging backwards, we're flexing the hip. The movement's coming from the hip only. On the knee obviously, but it's not coming from the spine. and we're going to hinge forwards. Again, this extension is coming from the hip, it's not coming from the lower back. And backwards, forwards, backwards, forwards. And then we're going to curl the back feet under, push down into the floor with the forearms, and we're just going to lift the bum into the air, straighten in the legs, and lower down. And then again, lift, and lower. Lift, and lower. Do 2 more of these. 1 more. And then we're going to push the floor away, up into quadruped. Then find your neutral spine. Make sure it's nice and neutral, lower back neutral, upper back flat. And we're going to hinge backwards again, hinging from the hip, not from the spine, not flexing the spine. And then we're going to come forwards. Again, we're not going into lumbar extension. Very nice. And back, forwards, back, forward, and then we're gonna, from this position, make sure we've got your neutral spine. Okay, so create your 360-degree breath. Make sure your hands are completely flat on the floor, and we're just going to lift the bum in the air and lower. So knees off, lower. So lifting, lowering, lifting, lowering. And then down, shake your legs off. Find your neutral spine again. And we're going to lift, hinge backwards, so we're hinging the hip, not the spine. Walk the hands backwards into your squat again. And then we're just going to rotate round, so drop one knee to the floor. So we're just opening up the hips. And then rotate back round into the squat. And then back, we'll drop the other knee, opening up the other hip. And then round into your squat. We're just rotating from side to side, opening up the hips. And just do one more on each side. Okay, from the squat, we're going to stand, feet, and make sure you've got your neutral spine, And we're going to try and just squat down again, nice and slow. Good. Come back up and go down. Good, nice. And up. Lovely. Do one more of these. And up. And we'll just do a few roll downs. So we're going to tilt the head forwards, creep the spine and the fingers all the way down to the floor. And then back up. Head back, roll the shoulders back, tilt the head forwards. And then back up. Feel that movement through the spine. Do one more. And we're done. So just pause the video. Hope you enjoyed it, guys. I'll see you soon.